Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. Okay, let me start off with a disclaimer on this one because apparently great minds think alike, and the lovely Bella Rings decided to do a show right now on the same topic and covering the same person. And that's okay. Sometimes stuff happens. And what I'm going to do is put the link to her video right here in the chat room. So y'all can click on that if you like. And yeah, she has thorough coverage from a woman's perspective on the same topic. All right. That being said, I want to welcome everybody. Salute to you. And let's get started. So, trophy wife. Now, there's a lot of talk about hypergamy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in my opinion, people nowadays have a very they have a very misguided understanding of what hypergamy is. First of all, hypergamy cannot exist in modern times. It cannot exist in a place and an entity where women create and generate their own wealth. The term comes from a time when women's wealth solely dependent on their husband, their wealth and status, meaning that if you were, and their father, meaning that if you were born a peasant because your father was a peasant, then the only way out of peasantry is if a handsome prince or a handsome lord, a handsome duke, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, was to come and put a glass slipper on your foot, and then you become a princess. That was the only way. If your father was a peasant and you're the daughter of a peasant, the only way was to marry up. That is what hypergamy is. What people are misconstruing, and what particularly women and men are misconstruing hypergamy as is, being relative to the woman's own wealth, meaning that if she is a doctor, then she has a right to demand a senior doctor or something like that based on her own wealth. It doesn't really fly like that at all. That ship is destined to sink, and that's what we have going on in the West right now. It's hypergamy based on the woman's ability to earn, not the woman's value to the man. Hit the like button. I'm going to spit some knowledge here. So the whole hypergamy thing is completely off. Now, the trophy wife scenario is something that is a real thing in modern times. In modern Western societies, a trophy wife is a thing, meaning that if a guy is exceptionally wealthy, he is the exception. He's, and by any means, he has achieved something. And his wife's beauty is a reflection of his conquest, his accomplishments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These is a real thing. Now, would I recommend in modern time any man get a trophy wife? Absolutely not. Because the thing is when you put yourself in the West, when you put yourself in a situation where you're exchanging access to wealth for beauty, she does not have to keep her end of the bargain, meaning that through marriage, she has access to your wealth, even if, and through divorce, she don't have to give you access to her beauty any longer. So it's a fleeting ship. She can divorce you, take half your wealth, and leave you crying like Tyrese. You no longer have access to her beauty, but she has continued access to a portion of your wealth, possibly a greater portion to your wealth than you were allowed access to prior. Meaning that, say, if your wealth comes from starting a multi-million-dollar company, a tech company or something like that, or a chain of restaurants, whatever, your wealth comes from that. And say you own 6 restaurants, she now owns 3. And all she had to do was convince you to marry her. This is why that is a failed endeavor. However, it is one that still exists, and it is one that men still go for. I think that people in higher tiers of society, daughters of men who were raised this way, are groomed to not to honor the agreement. like the wives of the Trumps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a thing. Go ahead and hit that like button. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the short of the day. And give you all time to come through. All right.
Parlo italiano.
Oh, mi chiamo David, sono un fotografo. Posso farti una foto? Let me show you my work. I don't know how to say that in Italian, but work.
Bellissimo.
Yes. Quick photo?
Va bene.
Okay. Italiano, very little.
¿Hablas español?
Español sí.
Hablo poquito, sí.
Poquito. ¿De dónde es?
De Madagascar, la isla de África.
Oh, wow. Se mira maravillosa.
Gracias.
Bien, nomás así. Wow. ¿Es modela?
No.
Mire para allá. Sonríe. Wow.
Gracias.
Excuse me.
Okay. So somebody says she's pretty, and I agree. She is a very pretty woman. And also she's a very polite woman. She's humble. She's not stuck up. She's nice. She's a nice person who you could kind of tell that she wasn't rightly interested in whatever it was he was doing, but she did entertain him because she found it difficult to say no. And basically, if she can be polite to a person with no cost to herself, then why not, is her thinking. And I agree with that thinking. Now, she said that she's from Madagascar, which is an island off the coast of Africa, the eastern coast to be specific. It's a very large island as island goes. And it's because of its history with the Arabic peoples and African peoples and stuff like that. The individuals there have a very unique and exotic look like hers, a very diverse one. So yeah, she is the product of that, and her culture combined with her beauty would probably make Madagascar a place that people should want to visit. And Italy, of course, because that's where she immigrated to, obviously, or she's just visiting. So hit the like button and we will get started with the main event. All right. So all right. No, not YouTube. All right. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, so the person that I'm examining, she is, if I had to guess her age, it would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 27 years old. Very attractive. And, to say the least, she's a very attractive woman, but she's listens to Shira 7. Let's start there. Now, Shira 7, she's doing this whole sprinkle sprinkle movement. And really what that is that's just a way to, what's it called? Nerf the women of the following generation so that they will be less competitive. You see, if men don't have a choice in getting a good woman, like say Bella Rings or something like that, then he's going to go with the bad choice. He's going to knowingly go with the bad choice. That's why we have so many, quite frankly, overweight women in the Black community. And that's because, well, they understand that, you don't really have much choice. They could saturate you with bad options and force you to take it. That's why they're proud of this situation. And that's why a lot of slim women in the Black community, we're going to talk about this in future videos, if you hit the like button. That's why so many bad women in the Black community. Oh, wait a minute. Dang, everybody is doing this. Okay. That's why so many bad women in the Black community right now, or excuse me, that's why so many slim women wish to be fat, and they wish to be PHAT because that is the ultimate test. Like, okay, this person has surrendered to the scarcity mindset. Therefore, I own him for the duration of the relationship. Hit that like button. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the rise and fall of this young woman in order of rise and fall. All right, so let's, I have her page up here and we're going to go to videos. And let's just look at the titles of the videos to see what type of women we're looking at. Okay, so. Okay, so her video includes titles like Good Moms Are Sexy. Okay, I would say that not having any children, um, however, displaying good mom qualities for the children that you will have is sexier. Let's see. Give him something he can hunt. This is another way of saying leverage to box. Men marry good girls while your looks aren't enough. We marry women who are actually good, yes. Not someone who becomes good for the sake of marriage. How to level up your beauty and to become a trophy wife. Okay. My ultimate guide to hygiene, beauty, health, hair. Okay, so this is obvious for women, you know, how to receive princess treatment. Well, a good woman wouldn't want princess treatment. She would want to be treated like a mother so she can treat. I mean, listen, you should be worrying about being a queen, not a princess, and not in the queen in the communitas sense that people are talking about. You should focus on being a queen, meaning being the mother of a princess and being the mother of a prince. Unfortunately, you did not receive princess treatment growing up. I could tell from what I'm about to show you in a video. However, those days are gone. Princesses aren't married. Princesses are, you know, once they marry, they become whatever it is to accentuate what their husband is. Then she says how to look your best every day. You know, some of this I agree with, of course, but a lot of it is just foolishness. All right, now let's go ahead and get into the first video. Now, y'all know how I like to give appraisals from time to time on would I smash or would I not smash. And, you know, when this finished loading, I will give my appraisal on that. But I will tell you right now, she is a definite smash.
Hey ladies, welcome back.
Like right off the bat. And she has the housewife look, the light skin, long hair, you know, flawless skin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She has that basketball wife, you know, that Drea type look. She does that Drea, that Gloria Govan, that Laura Govan. You know, I don't really know many basketball wives, but she does have that particular look about her, and she knows it, and she is likely going to. Well, she did go far with that. You know, her man is probably very high value. Her husband's very possibly very high value. Now, I think that this is her current husband in the background. This guy is significant. Well, she is significantly more pretty than he is handsome. And that's how trophy situations work. You know, if he got her off of his looks, then it's not really cause for a trophy because he didn't do anything to look the way he did. That's just genetic validation, something different. But they're together, they have kids, and let's just listen to her story. Fair use. Fair use.
Back to the new trophy wife. Today I'm going to be sharing my story guys about how I went from being a single mom to a spoiled housewife in less than a month. So, I had my first child when I was 17 years old. I intentionally got pregnant with my boyfriend at the time and basically turned him.
Okay, right there. Right there, she's showing a pattern of either deceit or foolish thinking. I mean, there's a lot to imply here. None of it's good. Scenario one: he was an older guy, maybe in his 20s or something like that. That graped you because you were 17. He graped you and left a receipt, apparently. He left the receipt inside you, and this is the receipt that keeps on receipting. Like, 50 years from now, they can DNA test that kid, that 50-year-old person, look at the age on the birth certificate and say, hey, wait a minute, this happened. That's scenario one. Scenario two is that he was also 17 with nothing, but the two of you agreed to have a child together. Foolish decisions on both of your parts. That's situation two. Situation three is he didn't intend at any age. He didn't intend on getting you pregnant, and you got yourself pregnant, which shows that you're deceitful, or at least you was at that age. Hit the like button, people. We're going to get into this. Okay. Oh, somebody said, why y'all just now telling me? Why are y'all just now telling me that? Okay, let me redo this then. Okay, I'm gonna go back a bit.
To a child raising a child. I, a few years later, had my second child. So after having two children and being a single mom, I think that my self-esteem was definitely low. I didn't know that at the time, but if I think back about the kind of men that I was choosing.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. It doesn't make sense that you had low self-esteem after becoming a single mom when you chose to become a single mom. Like, not much changed. Like, if your assessment of your value to the market, to the mating market, was that single mothers are worth significantly less than they are, then you would have known that while choosing, as you confessed to, while choosing to become a single mother. So I don't think that you really saw your value as low. I think that there's another reason why you were making the decisions that you were making. Somebody said 2 kids. Yes, she has 2 kids out of wedlock. And this is a trophy. This is a modern trophy. A trophy in the past would be her, and this would be her real hair, and she would be gently used or brand new down there. Just saying.
It definitely was a reflection of my lower self-esteem. I think that growing up, I was not taught the kind of men that I should be looking to attract and be in a relationship with. My mom drilled into me, oh, go with the man that's going to be the best breeder. And I think society drilled into me to go after the thug, the street dude, the swag.
I have no freaking idea what her mom meant when she said the best breeder.
Dude.
I really don't. I mean, could that mean like the best genetic potential, like getting with a guy that's 7 foot tall or something like that? I really don't have any idea what she meant when she said the best breeder. I don't. I truly don't. That's weird. But remember, her mama said that. I want somebody to write that down. Her mama told her to be with the best breeder, because that's going to come up in subsequent videos, or as I review this further. Her mother told her to be with the best breeder, and society told her to be with thugs. Now that's interesting considering her age. There was a time where society did tell women and girls that, and this was like the New Jack City era, the Menace to Society, the Boys in the Hood era. This was during that time period. But if she's 27, then that means that she was born in the late 90s, and she came of age, what, 10 years ago? 10 years ago, the thug was, I mean, the whole concept of thug, like, yes, it was cute. And I get it if you are 47 and Tupac had his shirt off, talking about thug life, I understand that. Who's doing that now? Who did that 10 years ago? Who made it say, what movie was out promoting that lifestyle 10 years ago, 2014? What genre of music was popular that promoted that lifestyle 2014? No, this is largely you and the small community which you surrounded yourself in. So this tells me something. This tells me something about your upbringing. Okay. Trump for President says more like a participation trophy with 2 OOW kids. Yeah, it's you don't get that for just participating in the game. She is a very attractive woman. If men got, I mean, because a participation trophy would be like something that you get just by default of being a man. And unfortunately, in modern times, just by default for being a man, you do not get a woman this pretty. You just don't. You actually have to earn it. We have to accept the reality, and this is the unfortunate reality, but this is why I have my channel. And that is, when it comes to the mating market and quality of women, men are doing more and getting less. I'm going to repeat that. Men are doing more and getting less. But yes, there was a time when all you had to do was, work overtime on your shift as a garbage man, and you come home to something like this. Now you have to be, the high value man, whomever this is in the background here. You have to be that guy just to, to get a single mom. It's unfortunate but true. But thanks for the super chat.
Or whatever you want to call it. But neither one of those was the best approach to going about dating and attracting.
Okay. It says the two bastards cancel out the pretty, especially for marriage. It cancels out the pretty once you had the pretty. When you don't have the pretty, meaning that you haven't smashed her yet, then yes, then you get that post clarity. And with that clarity, it's like, something, then you start to see the kids. You don't see the kids. You don't see the kids before the clarity. You get what I'm saying? But yes, you're just looking into her eyes, and then and then after you done been there, done that several times, and I give her maybe like 24 times. Once you have been there, done that like 24 times, and then those kids put a crayon on your carpet, it's like, oh, you gotta go. This relationship is over. Like, yes, you got to get control of your kids. They spilt some milk. Your kids spilt some milk. You gotta go. But that's after you get that 24 good goods out of her. Maybe 26. Hit the like button.
A husband. So after having my second child, I was working hard. I was making really good money. I think I was making about maybe 90K at the time, which for me as a 24-year-old woman was good. I thought I was doing good. I had my own plates. I owned my car. I was very self-sufficient, all about the mindset of, oh, I can do it by myself. I don't need a man, as so many of us modern women say, I can do it all by myself. And I soon realized after one Christmas of it just being me and my two boys that I wanted a family. I wanted more for myself. It felt
okay. Kudos to her for realizing this at a young age. 24 is a very young age, even though she did too much with the two kids and everything. Like, yeah, you did come out of the fog at a very young age, but you were tainted by the toxins in the fog before you got there. If she had not had those kids, and at 24, she's like, something, family is important. I'm going to start thinking strategically about, who I procreate with. Then people would be none the wiser. They'll just see a pretty chick making 90K and, that they want to get with. But that's not the case. Unfortunate but true, but that's not the case. She already came with the two kids. So you would really have to reassess your investment. Plus, something is up with her thinking. Somebody said, wish I was making 90K at 24. Yes. Well, when I was 24, 90K was not what 90K is today. 90K would be the equivalent to like 150K today. And yeah, I wish I was making that back then as well. Absolutely. Hit the like button. So anyway, the fact that the kids' fathers are not even coming home for Christmas really says something about who she chose to procreate with. And I don't know what her mother meant when she said the best breeder. I really don't. Like, there's a lot of strange holes in her story. And we're going to get into those. Speaking of getting into holes, yeah,
so lonely, and it was sad. It was really sad. And it was, I'd say, one of the lowest points in my life. And I realized that I don't want to do this on my own. I don't want to raise these boys on my own. I want a family. I want someone that I can love, someone that loves me and my children. And after that was when I decided that I was going to change the kind of men I was dating and what I was attracting. One of my sisters at the time had told me that I should create an online profile, and I was so...
Okay, attractive women don't change who they're attracting. Attractive women attract all men. What you're changing is who you are attracted to. Let's be clear. Attractive women do not change who they are attracting. They change what they are attracted to. And a lot of women make that mistake. Like, oh, because I was of this mindset, I was only attracting these guys. But now I'm of this mindset. It's like, no, you have now just opened yourself up to a different market of men. These same men were attracted to you, when you were younger. I'm not going to say 17, but when you were younger. Hit the like button.
Go against doing that because I was like, well, online profiles are only for people that are desperate, and I look good. I'm not desperate. I don't need
it's for desperate men.
I can find a man just going out, and
just for desperate men.
I was against it at first, and
online profiles, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, and y'all could correct me in the chat room if I am, but because of what dating sites have become, and because it's like 2-to-1 men to women, and men are paying and women aren't, which means that it should be less men, means that you are entering a marketplace that's highly unfavorable, and the women know that it's to their favor. So really, it's where men who are 9s go to pick up women who are 5s, which is a desperate thing to do. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't online dated in a while, since before she had kids.
And I think I also had a skewed version of what a high value man was at the time as well. I thought that a good mate, or the man to go after, was the one with the super nice car and a stack of money and the jewels and the chains on with the swag. Like, I thought that was the man that I should be going after, but that was definitely not the type of man that I should have been going after.
She is somewhat wise, I will say that, because I'm a man with an income, with disposable income, that I do not dispose on foolishness like that just to smash somebody like her who's after me because I have a gold grill or some crap like that, or whatever type of jewelry, or gregarious displays of wealth that women gravitate towards. That's not really my style. So she probably would get past my first line of defense and get those 24 smashes, maybe even 26.
And I learned quickly that just because someone looks like they have it together does not mean that they have it together. And
you're smarter than most.
The things that person is probably doing to get money is not sustainable, and probably not something that you would want to be involved in. And after learning.
Okay, so Kevin Murray says, Kevin Murray says, she was going after what was being promoted. No. She's going after what was being promoted 10 years before she was born. That wasn't what was promoted at the time. She did not grow up, watching Ice Cube and Eazy-E. Like that was long not been promoted. She became pregnant with her first child, like around the same time. What's that dude's name? Nas X was popular. If he was popular. I stopped listening to modern music, but I know that was not as popular. That the gold chains and the donkey ropes and stuff like that is really some 80s and 90s stuff. For whatever reason, I think that she was listening to her mother, who did grow up in that time period, who was on that ish, and really was probably deliberately sabotaging her much prettier daughter. Who's promoting it? I want to see who's promoting it now. I'm curious, because in this very chat, y'all was saying that, K-pop is the new rage. It's like, okay, so I know what's out, so I know, if that's in, and then, K-pop, what do they have? Gold chains and all that crap on K-pop? No, I don't deny that some Black women still claim to want thugs. I do not deny that at all. I'm saying that it's not promoted. That women like this are blaming it on promotion when really it's something else going on. It's either promoted like locally in the community by older women, which seems to be the case with her, or just like her circle of peoples. But it's not promoted by society, nowhere near as much as it was when I was the age that she got pregnant. Pac was alive, to give you an idea. Like, Pac was literally alive with Thug Life tatted on his chest. So it's nowhere near as promoted. I doubt she grew up overseas.
Quickly, that everything that glitters is not gold. I happened to come across Shira 7 on YouTube, and she completely changed my life.
Huh.
And she basically taught me what a high value man is and what to look for when trying to find a husband.
Now this is interesting because, and okay, I'm gonna say this. This is my assessment of her. My assessment of her is that she is highly, extraordinarily deceptive. You see, years ago, I used to I coined two phrases. One was BFF, Black Female Effery. That was me. Find on YouTube where somebody said it before me. The second was level 2 BFF. Now, level 1 BFF is easy to spot. They're the Keishas. They're the ones who aren't so pretty. They walk around with the fake hair, the overt attitudes, and they're just like a displeasure to be around. That is BFF. Level 2 BFF is something a lot more insidious. These are women that are, typically attractive, somewhat intelligent, have their own money, highly deceptive, but they are extraordinarily adept at holding and hiding their true intentions. They have the skill of reading men's desires and fulfilling them as long as their desires are met. These women are extremely dangerous, and they have always existed in the Black community. I want y'all to think about the song from Belle Biv DeVoe called Poison. And I'm going to quote from that song. She's so fly, she'll drive you right out of your mind and steal your heart when you're blind. Beware, she's scheming. She'll make you think you're dreaming. You'll fall in love and you'll be screaming, demon. Looking for a mellow fellow like DeVoe, getting paid. These women exist. Now, most men are not on a level to really be in the targets, in the crosshairs of women like this. There's really no need for her to attempt to deceive you or really associate with you at all. That's the majority of men. That's 99% of men. So we don't know this, but Belle Biv DeVoe did because they were on that level. And that was the women that they were dealing with. So they have come to that conclusion. One day, fellas, you perhaps will be on that level, and you will have to understand the mentality of women like this. Women who, and this is my assessment, highly deceptive, highly treacherous. She's as treacherous as she is beautiful. She's so fly, she'll drive you right out of your mind and steal your heart when you're blind. You have to be careful. That's why I look at her the way she's doing, and that's why I'm picking apart her story. And there's certain things that don't make sense. It was something that she said just now, but I forgot, so I'm gonna go back. Hold on.
Not gold. I happened to come across Shira 7 on YouTube, and she completely changed my life. And she basically taught me what a high value man is and what to look for when trying to find a husband. So I ended up taking my sister's advice and signing.
That's what it was. Okay, sweetie. I thought that I was alone with my kids on Christmas, and there was no man there near me. I was just so lonely. I just wanted someone to love. That just so happened to be a high value man. You see that part? You see how she left that out? Like, okay, were you looking for someone that loves you and your kids, or were you looking for somebody wealthy that loves you and your kids? Why would you go to Shira 7 looking for love? You see how the story isn't adding up? Beware of a big butt and a smile. How? Or no, never trust a big butt and a smile. You see this? So, I'm gonna try to point out as many red flags as I can in examining this woman. So Belle Biv DeVoe had to learn the game at a young age. For those of you who don't know, Belle Biv DeVoe is a derivative, a subset, 3 members of the group New Edition, who were, I think they actually were popular before I was born, and but still popular in the 80s when I was a kid, and yeah. So they have been famous for quite some time. So they understand that level. All right. Trump or Prison, 2024. Greatly appreciate you. It says she has 2 kids by 2 thugs. That tells me a lot I need to know. It takes a special type of simp to buy the BS she's selling. Yes. Or it takes a special type of temptress to sell it. It takes a special type of saleswoman to sell it. Okay, somebody says she wanted love, then ran across her. I think if I want love, I do not go. Okay, growing up, let's just divide the music into 2 categories of me growing up. A little Negro in East Oakland, right? And let's just say Too Short and LL Cool J. If I want love, I'm listening to LL Cool J. Romance, see a delight. How sweet. I gotta find me a girl to make my life complete. You can scratch my back. We'll get cozy and cuddle. That is what I'm listening to and taking advice from if I want love. If I want something else, I'm listening to Life Is Too Short. That's what it is. She chose that path. That is not the path of love. Okay, so she thought she was a dating coach, and she pulled in, but she didn't pull out. Shira 7 makes no secret. She makes no secret. This isn't about emotion. This is about getting that paper. This is about getting that bag. Sprinkle, sprinkle. She makes that completely clear.
Up for eHarmony. Yeah, she recommended Match, but in my spirit, I felt eHarmony. I don't know why. It's just something told me to do that one. So I ended up signing up for eHarmony. I created a profile, and I think the second person that I matched with was the man that I'm married to now. My
Holy
husband.
crap.
And
wow.
It was very different. My husband and I have a 20-year age gap, and he was not the first older man that I dated. I actually dated someone like 10 years older than me, and that was just a bust. A lot of people have told me that I'm very mature for my age, so someone 10 years older than me just wasn't a big enough age gap for me to vibe with. It just wasn't.
Okay. Once again, you got to pick her apart. What was the age gap between you and the father of your two children? The fathers of your two children. What was the age gap then? Because you said that you've been in an age gap relationship before, and I don't think either of those guys was the father of your kids. Meaning that your first choice was someone in your own age group, meaning that you got pregnant by a 17-year-old when you were 17. And you wanted that pregnancy. He probably didn't. Because he obviously didn't want the kid because he's not even visiting for Christmas. So this whole and this is what I'm talking about. Highly deceptive. She understands that her husband is watching this. And she understands also, because she's attuned to male nature, that men want to be wanted. They want to feel like they're a woman's first choice. So when she says something like, oh yes, I always wanted an older man because I'm so mature. Like, really? How come then by that logic, your first baby daddy would have been 37 years old? You didn't always want an older man. You just watched She Was 7 and realized that an older man is more susceptible to your charms and he's more willing to settle down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There isn't a 27-year-old dude that's making bread that's looking to settle down with your light-skinned self.
Yeah. So when I met my husband, I knew right away almost, and people say that, but it was definitely true. I know it sounds cliche. Just from our first date, it just felt natural.
Oh, really?
I felt like I just had known this person already. It was so comfortable. So we went to a really nice seafood restaurant and it was great. It was an amazing first date. And mind you,
what was it that you loved so much about him? What was it that you loved so much about him? I gotta hear this. Like, yes, when I met my now husband, it was just blah 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 wah 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 wah. What was it that you loved so much about him? I'm looking. I mean, was it his looks compared to yours? I mean, was it his genetic material, or what did he say? Get a breeder, whatever that means. Because breeder isn't somebody of high breeding genetics. A breeder is somebody who breeds a lot. So yeah, it's not adding up. It is not adding up. All right, hit the like button. I gotta go into this.
I think we both were kind of just dating different people at the time, and that's definitely something that I recommend if you're looking to, find a husband. Is not just dating one person at a time. It's not good to put all your eggs in one basket. But we had a great first date, and I think he ended up asking me to be his girlfriend on the first date, and I said I would think about it.
And that's the beauty deficit that exists in the Black community. That is the beauty deficit in the Black community. She is an attractive woman, but first date is like, will you be my girlfriend? And then he writes, yes, no, circle one. And then he has a maybe there, which is a no. But yeah, that is the text message he sent. Dude, listen to Belle Biv DeVoe. Never trust a big butt in a smile. House. Yeah, look at her smile. Look at her smile. She's so fly. She'll drive you right out of your mind and steal your heart when you're blind beware, she's scheming. She'll make you think you're dreaming. You'll fall in love and you'll be screaming, demon. Oh man.
I know that the universe guru talks about how you shouldn't fall into the girlfriend trap, and it was kind of something that I just intuitively knew, like, I'm not just going to agree to be your girlfriend just after meeting you, because I know that you just want me to be your girlfriend so that you can get in my pants. So I didn't agree, and we both were, we were talking, but then for some reason we kind of stopped talking for a little while. And we both were dating other people and doing our own thing. And then I had gotten into a serious relationship with somebody, and I ended up falling for the girlfriend trap. But that guy had really been investing a lot into me and doing a lot for me.
Okay, so listen to what she said. I'm not going to fall for the girlfriend trap. I'm not going to be your girlfriend just because you asked me to be your girlfriend. And then another guy comes along, hey, will you be my girlfriend? Oh, yes. I guess I just fell into the girlfriend trap. Listen, here's the reason. And I don't think it's physical. Here's the reason that she accepted the invitation of the second guy and not the guy that she married. Because the guy that she married made himself so available, she's seen him as low value because he didn't value himself as a boyfriend. He wasn't selective at all. So why should she value him if he didn't value himself? She maintained his status quo, is what she did. And she only respected the guy that she had to work for a little bit.
So I kind of felt like I had to agree to be his girlfriend because he asked me multiple times, and I finally agreed. So after me and him broke up, well, let me rewind. So me and him ended up breaking up because he just didn't really vibe with my oldest son, who was 5 at.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason that you both broke up. I'm going to go under the premise that almost everything that she says is a lie. You see, I mean, okay, it's one of those lies that everybody tells. For example, when somebody said, hey, why did you leave your last job? And the true answer is I was fired because I was late all the time. But the actual answer that you give is, oh yes, well, the company had mass layoffs due to I don't know, because Trump was elected, they just started laying people off. Like you give the answer that the people that you are interviewing for wants to hear. She's given the answer that her audience wants to hear to fit with the persona. Remember, she wants to be a good girl, or she wants to be seen as a good girl. And good girls don't just break up with guys because, he farted. Good girls break up with guys because she puts her children first, and he don't put her children first. All right, I'm going to respond to this. Her husband sounds like a high value man with low self-esteem. Yeah. He's a high value man that doesn't value himself highly. He's probably somebody who is new to wealth. Like this is his first generation. Like so many black men, this is his first generation with wealth. He very likely has doubled, tripled, or more the income of his father, and he don't know what to do with it. And that's why I keep bringing up Belle Biv DeVoe, who, of course, is significantly wealthier than their father, but especially when they were at the height of their career. But they had time to learn, because they've been that way since they were young. They had time to adjust into their new wealth. She got him before he made that adjustment. She was the first pretty face that gave him the time of day. And that's why he's like, will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my girlfriend?
At the time, I could tell that he was really just putting up with my kids. He didn't really embrace them. Sometimes, we as mothers can tell like someone's just being nice to our kids for the purpose of being with you, and they're not necessarily invested in your kids themselves.
Okay, so King Pix had something to say. Let me respond to this. It says, lots of rich men are money, but unlame someone at Trump. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Listen, if you're going to be lame, be rich. And I could tell you, it's more broke lames than there are rich lames. I could tell you that. It's just that the rich ones have something to protect. Broke lames wouldn't find themselves in this particular situation. They wouldn't even be presented with this opportunity to know what to do. So, yeah, if you're going to be lame, be rich.
And that's what I felt like from him. So it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel like a family, the kind of family that I was wanting. So I ended up breaking up with him.
Okay. You ended up breaking up with him. Now, also, I don't believe the story because
and we were living together. I know we were living together, and I just like packed all my stuff and left. And it was crazy because the next day, my husband, my now husband, reached out to me and was like, hey, how are you doing? And I told him, I just got out of a relationship.
That's not a coincidence. I think that he was watching your online whatever, and he's come to realize through whatever means that you just got out of a relationship. He was watching you online, and then the moment it appeared that you were single again, he's like, he put the speed dial on, like, hey, how you doing? You finished letting that other guy smash? Because if so, I got money.
And I kind of told him a little bit about why. And he was telling me like, oh, those are my boys. And he had genuinely really connected with my kids, and he was not the kind of man that was just be nice to them to get to me. Like, it was very genuine, and that was one of the things that I really loved about him. That was something that stood out about him versus the other men that I had dated, was he really embraced the fact that I had children because he wanted children. And so he was talking, my lease was going to be ending very soon, which is why I went ahead and moved in with my person that had became my ex. We started living together, and I told my husband, I was like, hey.
Okay, so she didn't live with her ex very long. If her lease was about to end, which is like 1-2 months, like her lease is about to end in 1-2 months, and then she moves in with a guy, and then she moves out within that 1 and 2, she moved in and out of that relationship within a 2-month period. So there was a guy out there that was willing to move her very attractive self into his place in a very short period of time. And her kids. Kids. Hit the like button.
It was so embarrassing to admit, but I was like, I need a place to stay because my lease is ending and I just broke up with my boyfriend, and maybe even if it's just like for a couple weeks, it's okay. Just want to look for, somewhere else, because I had planned on needing to find somewhere else. And he was saying, well, if you're going to live with me, it's going to be as my wife, not as my girlfriend. And I was like, well, how?
Uh-oh. If you're going to live with me, it's going to be as my wife, not as my girlfriend. Couldn't you just hit it? Couldn't you just hit it 24 times?
Spontaneous are you? And he laughed and he said, very spontaneous. So then I was like, right. So we started entertaining the idea of getting married, like immediately. And I, didn't want to get my hopes up. So I just said that, he's saying all these things, but I'm going to see what action that he takes. And so I had just got paid and I was like, okay, we seems like we're really talking about seriously entertaining the idea of getting married. So I'm going to go and get the wedding ring. We were talking about getting married like the next week, and he was out of town in Colorado. So we hadn't seen each other. This is all talk over the phone, over FaceTime. So I went and got his ring. I think I paid like $300 for it. It wasn't like a super flashy ring like the one he has now, which is completely
the one he paid
better.
for.
But I went and got his ring, and the next time we talked on FaceTime.
So she make $90K, about $45 an hour. Let's see, times 4, about $1,600, $1,700 a week. Let's just say minus taxes. Let's just make it even $1,200. And she spent $300 on that ring.
I was like, I did something. He was like, what did you do? I was like, I got your wedding ring. So he was like, no, you didn't. Show me. So I showed him. I said, yeah, I actually did it. I don't know if you were really being serious, but we're talking about getting married. So I had a really bad habit of like spending money. And I was like, if I don't get the ring now, then I'm not going to get it. So I went ahead and got it.
I'm skeptical of the whole 90K thing.
And
I'm skeptical of the 90K thing, to be honest with you, because she is like dripping broke bitch. She's like bathing in broke bitch juice. Like, yes, my lease was about to expire. It's like, okay, so get a new lease. Yeah, no, I'm gonna just find a boyfriend. Like, wait, why don't you just get a new lease? No, I'm just find a boyfriend. And then if it don't work out with that boyfriend, I'm gonna get another boyfriend. And I had to wait for my paycheck before I spent $70. Or excuse me, before I spent $300. Why I say $7? Before I spent $300. Like, really? So you had nothing saved. You had nothing saved because you had to wait for your paycheck. Hit the like button.
That put the fire under him to, I guess, really go and look for my ring. Well, let me rewind. So then after that, I think it was like the next day, somebody told me to go online and check my eHarmony profile. So I went on there and I saw that he had updated his picture, and I was like, oh no, this dude is playing around. Like, I'm glad I didn't spend a whole bunch of money on this ring.
You
Like, he was
updated
just playing,
okay.
and I screenshotted it and sent him a picture.
Something told me to go to my eHarmony profile. Yes, your desire for other men. Your desire for other men told you to go on your eHarmony profile. So she's in eHarmony and she looks at him in eHarmony saying, oh, this guy's in eHarmony. How dare him? He must be cheating. Okay, but you're there too.
Picture, and I said, it doesn't seem like we're on the same page, so yeah, I'm done with this. And he texted me, he was like, or I think he tried to call me and I didn't answer. And he texted me and he was like, no, I'm serious. I am going to marry you, in caps. And I think that
so you guilted
evening him. He like ended up going and buying my ring.
Yeah, you guilted him.
Yeah.
Pay attention, fellas. This is what they do. They make you feel guilty. He felt like he did something wrong. He didn't even stop to ask, what are you doing here on eHarmony? He felt that he was doing something wrong. And Sheba 7 even tells you this. If you can make a man feel guilty, you own him. So that's what she did. She made him feel guilty. But he really should have said, I'm keeping I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I mean, isn't that what you were doing? Weren't you dating multiple people? One of whom you lived with before you decided to live with me?
He went and bought my ring. And the ring that he got me is not the ring I had now. It was a nice ring, but it wasn't nearly as big as the rock that I'm currently sporting. But
yeah, you upgrade rings.
When he showed it to me, in my head, I said, it's not about the ring, it's about the marriage. And I definitely think that that's something that you ladies should keep in mind, is that if a man is going to propose to you, don't make it about the ring, because that can really turn a man off and make him think that that's all that you care about is having a big ring, when it's more important to have the marriage. And I knew that in my heart. I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything about the size of the ring. You know, it's still a nice ring. I'm going to take it and we're going to get married. So we ended up getting married the next week. Everybody was shocked. I randomly called my mom, my grandmother, hey, I'm getting married in a few days. We got married at the courthouse because I told him I don't need a big wedding. I'd, rather spend that money elsewhere. And we had a really beautiful wedding reception in DC at a really nice restaurant. It was gorgeous. So, yeah.
Where else would you rather spend that money? Where else would you rather spend that money? I'm curious.
Yeah, that is how I ended up getting married. But I think that also something that I want to let you guys know is that becoming his wife and really being the kind of woman that could just get a ring like that took work. At that time, I had really become a better version of myself, a better version than the woman that was dating thugs and, living in some kind of secular lifestyle. I had to become the kind of woman that a man would want to take around his colleagues and his mother, and be the woman that's adding value to him just by standing next to him.
Did you have to become that woman, or did you have to appear to be that woman?
But yeah, I know it's kind of a interesting story, but I also helped two of my sisters to get married. They both
Holy
got
crap.
married in less than a year as well. So I'm really good at knowing how to get women the ring. And
Holy
get the
crap.
kind of men that you would be proud of. So if you ladies are interested in learning more about how to become a trophy wife, then please click subscribe. I would love to have you here. Stay tuned. We are going to be giving all the tips, all of the information that you need to become the best version of yourself, to level up and become the woman not only of your dreams, but of his. So I will see you ladies next time. Please comment, subscribe, like. All right. Well, that is all for today. And I will see you ladies next time. Bye.
Okay, so that's the rise. Now, the name of this video is The Rise and Fall of a Trophy Wife. So that's the rise. Now let's see the fall. Let's see the fall of a trophy wife. Go ahead and hit that like button. Yes, I did. That's why this is called. D2 said, have I seen her recent vid? And the answer is yes. And Chaos, I'm sorry I had to time you out, but you kind of like spoiler alert, like, dang, dude, you the type of dude that just walk in, you see people watching a movie, they watching The Sixth Sense, and it's like, oh yeah, so is this that movie where Mel Gibson is a ghost? You that dude, Chaos. What in the hell? Anyway, so look at her body of work. So this is her second video where she's talking, about how she met her hubby, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then everything is about how to be a trophy wife, make him want to spoil you. Keep in mind that she's a single mother. So F them kids, make him spoil you, make him give you stuff. Yes. Let's see. How to look your best every day. Bratz versus Barbie. So Trophy Wife podcast, how to increase masculinity and feminine polarity. Okay. So all this seems like pick me talk, blah, 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 blah. But see, understand this. When a woman is a pick me, being a good woman is a means to an end. So we know the means. We know that being a good woman is the means in which she achieves her end. Now, if her end aligns with yours, then everything works out perfectly. But if her end isn't aligned with yours, then it doesn't. For example, if she wants a high value man to spend it on herself on luxury items, then that might not align with your end. However, if she wants a high value man because it secures the future of the children for generations to come, then that's something else. All right. Now let's get into the bad and the ugly.
Hi, Trophy.
She has 700. Like, I seen this when it first came out during movie night. But yeah, so apparently it went viral since then. But let's watch. Hit the like button. Okay, somebody said, King Pick says,
Hi, Trophies.
Hi, Trophies. It says, Game Changer, I think you are judging her too harshly. If we're going to go off her face and body, she's a good woman. I don't know what to say to something like that. If we were to go off of Brittany Renner's face and body, she would be a good woman. I mean, bad women do have pretty faces and nice bodies too. What in the hell? What in the entire hell was that statement? You're judging her too harshly. If we're to go off of her face and body, she's a good woman. What the? Because bad women don't have nice bodies. What? They bad women like the same gene that's attached to. Are you saying that beautiful people are inherently good? Are you saying that a man shouldn't judge them harshly? I cannot believe this. I cannot. Once again, okay, I'm gonna sing it to you. I'm gonna sing it to you so you understand. She's so fly, she'll drive you right out of your mind and steal your heart when you're blind. Beware, she's scheming. She'll make you think you dreaming. You'll fall in love, that's you, and you'll be screaming demon. Poison, deadly, moving in slow, looking for a little. Never trust a big butt and a smile. Like, what part of this aren't you getting? Oh, it's the same part that her husband didn't get. All right, let's see how this dream relationship panned out, played out.
Welcome back to my channel.
She looked better with robe on.
Welcome if you're new here. If you hear any noise in the background, that's the new baby. A lot has happened since the last time that I recorded. I think the last time you guys saw me, I was in my second trimester, and yeah, I think I did post an update in the community section when the baby was born, and I said that I would be back soon, and that was a few months ago now. I thought that when I came back on here that it would be to maybe do like some kind of newborn favorites or meet my new baby or something like that, but unfortunately it's been a little over a month since I had to end up leaving my husband. I honestly don't even really know where to start.
Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning. Let's hear it out. You had to leave your husband a little bit after your baby was born. Yeah, just start at the beginning with that.
This just because it's just such a.
I don't like her nose either, but I do like her everything else around her nose. What do you think of man? Who's looking at her nose? Like, oh yeah, that nose.
Hard topic, and I honestly thought that by the time I got on here that I wouldn't have any tears left because I've just cried so much. It's like I built this channel and this whole brand around being this man's wife, and trying to teach other women how to attract good men and provider men and all these different things.
Say
And
words faster.
I truly held my husband or saw him as the bar for what every woman should, type of man that, or type of husband that every woman should aspire to have. And I didn't realize that the person I married was actually going to be my biggest nightmare. So
She pauses a lot for dramatic effect. She pauses a lot for dramatic effect. That's to give you time to build sympathy. Let's hear her out.
basically, when I first met my husband, as I've already talked about in another video, I think it was my single mom video, I explained, a little bit about how we met. And I really thought that man was my Prince Charming. So when I first met my husband,
We already seen that video.
I thought that he was my Prince Charming. I thought that he was my knight in shining armor, and he portrayed himself to be this amazing, upright, righteous Christian man. And I believed him.
Dang.
I think shortly after we got married, and this is something that I haven't talked about, I started noticing like certain things changed with him.
Okay. Trump says she got knocked up by another dude. Possibly. Let's not, I mean, we're only going to hear her side of the story here. Now, if she did get knocked up by another dude, and the baby came out Chinese, and the husband left her as a result of it, we're still only going to hear her side of the story. So right now is her side of the story. And of course, her side isn't going to be a confession of how she got knocked up by another dude. But that is a possibility. There are a lot of possibilities of what happened, but we're going to hear what she says happened. Hit the like button.
And I just started to see a few things that I didn't like, but I honestly thought that some of these were things that I could get past.
Now, I'm going to talk about this for a second. What you see written there. He RP'd me 4 times in the first few months of our marriage. He RP'd me 4 times in the first few months of our marriage. Okay. I'm not even going to get into my views on if I feel that a husband can RP'd a wife. I'm not even going to get into that. What I am going to say is that the only way that this can be considered a truth from her point of view is if in the honeymoon phase of the relationship, this is the first few months, this is the honeymoon phase. In the honeymoon phase of the relationship, She denied her husband 4 times. I'm glad Bella Rings is here. I'm glad Bella Rings is here because Bella Rings did the same story at the same time. And don't worry, I put your link, in the chat room and everything because I didn't like that I had to do it at the same time as you, but I already scheduled it. But my take is different than yours, and that's because I come from a standpoint of I don't necessarily believe all women, especially in instances like this. She has everything to gain from lying in this situation. So, I have to, until proven otherwise, I have to assume that this didn't happen. She has everything to gain, all of his wealth. Yeah, no worries, it happens. But and thanks for the super chat. But you say, and ladies, sign up to Bella Rings, fellas too, sign up to Bella Rings because she says, do not deny your man. Do not deny your man. I think you said have like a 98% acceptance rate when it comes to sex. Something I totally agree with. And that 2% is, it should be something that's, that a man should be tolerant of. Within the first few months, she denied him 4 times. Oh, you said 80%. Okay. Split the difference. But 89%. All right. But she denied him 4 times within the first few months. And then not only that, apparently, and I don't know what she considers forcible or something like that, but she claimed that he paid her 4 times within the first few months. Now, let's go back to her channel because we want to know the type of woman that we're dealing with here. 526 is the timestamp. So let's go back to her channel. Right? So after being paid 4 times, what does she do? Oh, she just makes videos, talking about the fabulous life. Become a trophy wife. Be a trophy wife. I like being a trophy wife. Look at my ring. Look at my roses. Look at my smile. I'm a trophy wife. Look at the purple. Look at the hair. Look at the light skin. I'm a trophy wife. Look at the dolls. Look at the dress. Look at my clothes. I'm a trophy wife. So she did this whole trophy wife campaign. She did her trophy wife campaign, after being paid 4 times. What were you setting people up for? What were you setting these women up for? If you really thought you were paid 4 times, what were you setting these women up for? Why did you advertise a lifestyle like that and hide that? So right now you're 80%. Okay, that's 1 in 4 times that you say no. I mean, listen, I like a reason. I like a reason for a no. And it's not that I have an insatiable appetite, but every no turns off a man. It ruins. Okay, you ever eat a bad sunflower seed and that bad sunflower seed ruins the next handful of sunflower seeds because you got that bad taste in your mouth? A no ruins the next few encounters. It does. So use it sparingly. That's what I say. I split the difference. You say, I know, but see, you said 80% of the requests. I don't request. I wouldn't request if I understand the kid situation. I'm not gonna request after the kids you get sewn up and I'm like, hey, how about some of that? No, I'm not that type. I don't request unless it's required. I don't request all the damn time just because I'm up and you got to be down. I'm not that type of dude. So when I request, I want the request fulfilled. 80% is low. I say 98%. That's what I say. Split the difference. 89% of requests should from your husband should be fulfilled. That's what I'm saying. That's not a good enough reason. I don't feel like going to work. What are you talking about? You think I brush my teeth when I feel like it? Well, do you think I go to the gym when I feel like it? If I did, I would never go. She might not feel like it. It's crap like this. You see, this is why you gotta draw a hard line. Danica Marie. Salute to you, love. Salute to you. It says, hey, I stopped by while clearing. I heard about denying preach. Yes. Stay tuned because we're about to get deep into it. Okay, I agree. And trust me, I'm not getting personal. That's your business. I'm just saying I don't request all the time. I don't listen. I'm not like an everyday, I'm only thinking about my own needs type of dude. So when I request, fulfill the request. I don't walk up to women who have COVID and say, listen, I need that 98%. I don't do that. All right. But anyway, back to this woman, back to her, because she has a story to tell. Spoken little sis. Spoken like my true little sis. I feel like if the stick is up, it's your job to put it down. I agree. I agree. What did Kamala say? You know, I endorse this message. Yes.
It's like sad to even say like I could get, I don't even know where to start. 6 weeks ago I was changing my 4-year-old daughter.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop right there. So by the way, I was watching this. I'm not your husband. I'm not. So y'all do you. Trust me, I'm not making this personal at all. You know, your husband is an extraordinarily lucky dude, but I'm not him, and that's that. You know, I mean, of course. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, you don't get all them kids from, you know, not pleasing her husband. So yeah, shout out. Trust me, I'm not complaining on his behalf. That is not what I'm doing. I would just hear the 80 and you know and get worried and get worried. If a woman told me initially 80, I would probably get worried. Oh, okay, got you. Now I want y'all to pay attention because I brought this up at movie night. I actually seen this while at movie night. I was and then I shared it with everybody. So she said that she was changing her 4-year-old's diapers. That is weird. That is weird. That is weird. So somebody suggested that the daughter is on the spectrum somehow, which is the only way I can think that would make sense. Is that the 4-year-old is on the spectrum, and you know, she's, you know, because even like if she has like a, you know, IBS, she still has the cognitive ability as 4 to change her own diaper. So yeah, that is a thing that I noted. So pay attention to that part. She's changing a 4-year-old's diapers. She just said, I changed my 4-year-old's diapers.
I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive.
I don't have any kids, but somebody said that that's consistent with diaper rash.
And immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her?
Somebody said, what's the normal age for potty training? I know it's not 4. Not 4 is the normal age for potty training. Like 4 is the age for reading. 4 is literally the age for reading. So, yeah. Somebody said 2. Yeah, that sounds about right. Why do you think that's a normal age? Are you one of those mothers that breastfeed their kids till they 12? What kind of crap is that? That's not normal.
Oh God. So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was daddy.
Okay. Now, Bella, I want you to understand why I'm a lot more skeptical of this situation. The daughter is on the spectrum. That's the only thing that makes sense. The daughter is on the spectrum. She's coherent enough to identify her rapist. The daughter is, she has the ability to identify and understand grape and distinguish it from touching, as a father would touch his daughter, but she can't change her own damn diaper. It's starting to not add up, Bella. It's really just like, when you look at the details, it's like, wait a minute, you're changing a 4-year-old diaper, and when asked, she says, "Daddy touched me." Like, it's just not adding up, in my opinion. I could be wrong. And he's a horrible human being. But, okay, there's 2 possibilities. One, something went wrong in the relationship, and she just wants to completely destroy his life, destroy his career, take his freedom, take his money, completely obliterate this guy right now. That's one possibility. 2, he's a guy with an attraction to his own 4 and 2-year-old daughters. So one of the 2 things. It's one of the 2 things. The former or the latter. I do not know, but I will say that it is in her best interest if it is the former, like, to convince people of the former. Oh my God, kings don't change their own diapers, GC. They just, I know. You're listen. I'm saying, like, I can't imagine a situation where 4-year-olds are, even if you have like something like what do they call it? Like a bladder condition or a bowel movement condition where you're forced to wear diapers at that age, you would still be able to change it yourself. That's what I'm saying. So the only 4-year-olds that not only wear diapers but requires their mothers to change it are the ones that are on the spectrum, which is to no fault of the little girls or the mothers or anyone's. I'm not downing them from that. I'm just saying that if she is on the spectrum, I can't imagine her having the wherewithal to. It's all bad. Oh, see, I didn't know that, but you probably got those genius kids. Those kids that do calculus in the 4th grade and crap.
I felt like my world ended on that day. My husband wasn't home at the time when she told me, but I knew he would be coming home soon, so all I could do was just say, don't tell him that you told me. And I just instantly started trying to think of how I could get my kids out of the house, because I knew if I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie.
So at this point, I'm counting 5 kids. I'm counting 2 from previous relationships, and the 4-year-old with diapers, a 2-year-old that she's about to mention, and the newborn that she just had, and that that sparked this whole series of events. So yeah, that's what I'm picturing. That's so 5 kids, and she's got to try to get all 5 out the house.
And that he would probably just continue to keep doing stuff to her, but just become more covert or more sneaky or whatever. As soon as my husband got home, he was actually picking up the boys from school, my 2 older boys from school. As soon as he got home, I told him that I was gonna go Halloween shopping with my sister, because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And I knew if I said something like, oh, I'm going to the grocery store, that it would be suspicious. Like, why am I bringing all the kids and like packing things, like things that we would need and things like.
Why not just call the cops? Why not just call the cops? Like right then and there. Things are not adding up, people. Things are not adding up.
That's so going Halloween shopping was the best thing I could think of to just hurry up and get the kids out of the house.
The hell is wrong with you? You're listening to this story and you're thinking about Cardi B. What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway.
I'm sorry, I had to get myself together. So when I got to the hospital, they basically told me that we had to go to another hospital because they didn't do physical exams, like that kind of physical exam there. So a police officer escorted the kids and I to another hospital where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old.
Okay. It's really not adding up. From the changing the 4-year-old's diapers to, you say, both of your daughters, which would mean that he has an attraction to 2-year-olds, which is sick. Because that's beyond pederast. That's something far worse. But he has an attraction to 2-year-olds. What happened when? How come you didn't notice it when your first daughter was 2? I'm going to repeat that. How come you didn't notice it when your first daughter was 2 years old? There's things that's, when you actually should have been changing your first daughter's diapers at 2. If he has that affliction, then it's safe to assume he would have started then. I don't know why my phone just did that, but yeah, if he had that particular affliction, it seemed like he would have started then. So I don't know. It's really, really suspicious. Okay, and understand this. And this is to Bella Rings and Danica, to the women in the chat room. Hit the like button. Understand this. I'm not siding or I'm not skeptical of the story because I'm on his side because he's a man. I'm not doing that. This is not like being biased towards men. The real subconscious reason why I'm trying to really call bullshit on this is because I truly don't want it to be true. Trust me, me being right is the best outcome for everybody. Me being right about her, that she's a lying bitch, is the best outcome for her children. If she is lying, then these little girls are safe, healthy, and happy. If she is lying, that's the real underlying reason that I want this to be a lie. And maybe I'm veering towards that direction. I want that to be the case. I want her to be lying. And the worst traumatic experience that these girls will ever have is being the daughters of a mother who lies.
It still feels like a dream. Like when
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait a minute, your 2-year-old got it too, and you didn't notice it on the 2-year-old, but you noticed it on. It's so nasty. I hate saying this. I do it for y'all. I hate saying stuff like this. Hit the like button.
when this first happened, I just kept waking up every day.
No, Danica, I'm saying that this is the less traumatic outcome. Trust me, crazy mamas. Ask me how I know. Crazy mamas is trauma. It's like a woman that's willing to lie to this extent is capable of a lot of stuff. But a man who's capable of what she's accusing him of is worse. That's what I'm saying. It's the lesser of two extraordinary evils.
Day and just hoping that this was a dream. Because it's literally my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. I myself am a product of.
I really am. Whenever somebody just talks about something that's extraordinarily traumatic that happened to somebody else, and then brings it back to themselves, it's really, Okay, let's hear about you now. Let's hear about you.
RAPE. That's how I came to be. And was also, abused as a child by a neighbor's husband.
So she's talking about her own abuse now, but I want to adjust what Danica says. She says she could be putting her kids directly in harm's way lying on someone like that. People could snap being lied to on the street. Yeah, exactly. So if she is lying, and he does snap, well, keep in mind that this is his own daughter. Okay, what she's accusing this guy of, if not true, that is the worst thing you can call a man who is not wired that way. Kind of like gay men don't, or straight men don't like being called gay and stuff like that, or black men don't like being called white, that is, but that's because you're calling a person something that they take pride in that they're not. That is the lowest form of humans. Even prisoners, amongst people who are already criminals, you're still the lowest. That is the lowest form of masculinity. That is the lowest form of human. That. So if you're, yeah, it's a strong reaction. Like, that is the worst thing you could call somebody if it's not true. And yeah, Bella and Bum are right. She should definitely go to jail if that's the case. Now, courts are reluctant to do that. She has a newborn that needs milk. They're reluctant to actually, and she has a pretty face. Let's be clear. That does, just like it played on what's his name, that's like, oh, how could she do wrong? She has a pretty face and a nice body. Well, juries and judges see pretty faces too, and they are manipulated the same way. So it's not likely to happen, and she'll be free to cause damage to other guys' lives, if she, if she's found out for not doing this. But it is what it is.
And I specifically pray to God that my children would never, ever, ever have to go through this. And I'm just...
And what is this with your neighbor's husband? What is this? Like, here, I'm gonna go back because that sounds suspicious too. And if it is, I mean, it's pathological. So was your neighbor, I mean, well, first of all, it would just be your neighbor, not your neighbor's husband. But were you alone with him? Were you a little girl alone with your neighbor? An adult man? Did you say, hey, I want to, go to this adult man's house to play Monopoly? Like, or, ooh, he got Skittles. Like, I mean, what happened? I'm confused about that. Let's listen to that again.
Was also, abused as a child by a neighbor's husband.
What the hell is a neighbor's husband? So it's showing like matriarchal thinking. It's showing that this is my neighbor's house and her husband lives there. It's showing that. It's what do young people say? It's giving that. It's giving, yeah. Like Danica, Bella, do people say do people say, Danica's husband, Bella's husband's house? Or no, or do they say yeah, my neighbor's husband? That's just sounds bad.
Was also, abused as a child by a neighbor's husband. And I specifically prayed to God that my children would never, ever, ever have to go through this. And I'm just not quite sure how this happened.
Okay, so she didn't flesh out
why
that neighbor's
this
husband
happened.
thing.
I just don't know how he was able to get away with it.
Okay. The children were examined by doctors. The doctors also believed that the children were abused. Okay. What doctors? What hospital? Like, I mean, this is just her saying stuff. At this point, this is just her saying stuff. I pray that she's lying. I pray that she's lying. But because right now, she's just telling a story with no evidence.
And so sneaky because with my own trauma, I watch my kids like a hawk. Like, I don't like them sitting on people's laps. None of that. And he knows how much I cannot stand men like him. And to think like I couldn't even go to sleep in my own house and know that my children are safe. Just by me going to sleep, my children were left unprotected. So I don't know what the future of this channel is going to be.
You're thinking about your channel right now? You're thinking about your channel right now. And she actually changed the name on her channel. She changed it to Isis from a trophy wife something or other. She's actually thinking about her channel. So yeah, my 2-year-old and 4-year-old was raped by my husband, and I was raped, and my mama was raped, and that's how I was born. And I don't know what I'm going to do about this channel. Whoa, okay. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, well, she rebranded herself already, because that's what's going through her mind right now. She has a newborn, 2 great kids, and she's like, I woke up like this. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to change the name or what.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking about.
I was going to go Halloween shopping with my sister because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with him when she told me. But I knew he would be coming home soon, so all I could do was just tell him that you.
I missed the part. Where she was telling us that her mother was great, because I talk too much. I missed the part where she was telling telling everyone that her mother was great, and that's how she was conceived. And I'll say this: is this the same mother that told you to look for genetic material? Or no, is this the mother that told you to look for a breeder? Your mother is a great victim telling you to look for a breed. Like, it's not adding up. It's really weird. It's really weird. I mean, okay. Jason Smollett. had a story. Like, his story was just so fantastic. It was just so fantastic that you when he said it, you just kind of knew that people did not exist like that in real life. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like do white people just patrol the streets at night talking about, oh yes, I'm looking for some niggers. So, and I just walk around with a noose and um so I can hit them with a bottle of bleach. What is that? Like, it sounds like the same thing. Like, it's so fantastic. Like, why are you like why is there like 3 generations of grape that surrounds you? Like, what is it's too it's just like it's such a like lifetime original story stuff that it sounds like crap. It sounds like nobody is that tragic, and nobody just goes from triumph to tragedy that quick. It doesn't seem. I don't know. That's why I'm picking it apart. It seems like trash, I mean, and for all I know, I could be wrong. And tomorrow she's like, here's the doctor's report, here's the police report, and fuck you, game changer. Like, she could do that tomorrow, but I'm telling you, it does not add up. It is not, you know, it is not adding. Like, I'm looking at the, like what's going on with the stories and stuff, and it is a true triumph to tragedy like event, but this one got it literally got over 100,000 views, or like over 50,000 views since I've been talking. Because before it was at 7 something. 8 months ago, you're talking about his penis and his actual brain. Oh, holy crap. Listen, once again, 2 scenarios. Scenario 1 is that everything she says is true. Scenario 2 is that something happened recently, the relationship ended, and you just went scorch earth on his ass. You just like, thin line between love and hate. You just went completely, I am going to destroy his everything. This is like fuck keying his car. I am just going to key his life. Maybe this newborn baby, like I say, maybe this newborn baby came out Chinese and he's a dark skinned black man. Like, and he's like, what the hell? Like, it's, who knows? But man, this is sad. More like, yeah, you missed a good show, Melissa. But yeah. All right, let me read some of the comments. Yeah, thinking about a new niche. It's exactly, if it's true and you're doing this, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good to expose him, but which is what you did, but you're considering a new direction of your show. It's like, okay, this is not what this show is made for, but since I have an audience, I want it to be known that this happened to my children. That's one thing. But to say, okay, where do I take my channel from here? It's like, well, there's other things. There's other more pressing matters. So that combined with, Josh and Bellarine's confirmed it because she has kids, that the symptoms that she described is more aligned with diaper rash, then I don't know. This whole thing sounds funny, suspicious. Your daughter's articulate. It seems like she would have just told you. She wouldn't have to like wait for a diaper rash. Like, you wouldn't have to bring it up if you asked her and she said, yes, daddy touched me. It would seem like she would just say, hey, mom, by the way, daddy touched me. Okay. I'm going to respond to this. I'm proud of her. She put her children first. If this is true, if this story is true, and I hope that it's not, for the children's sake, I hope that it's not. If this story is true, this is not putting her children first. You see, and I'm going to just say the word, forget the algorithm. Actually, I'm not going to say the word. But Great Shield laws exist for a reason. These laws exist for a reason. And this is so the victims do not have to spend the entirety of their lives under the stigma that surrounds that particular thing, the stigma and shame. Now, though her children's identity is not revealed, they will always be her children. And 10 years from now, when that 14-year-old girl is a 14-year-old young woman, or excuse me, when that 4-year-old girl is a 14-year-old young woman, she's still going to be her mother's daughter. And 20 years from now, when that 4-year-old girl is a 24-year-old young woman, she's still going to be her mother's daughter. So she really, in a real way, doxed her for life. And what was gained from this? What did her children gain from this? So I don't think that that's really putting her children first. And if it's not true, she really just threw her children under the bus. Sounds like he was a real lame. He definitely was lame. He was extraordinarily eager to marry her. For a guy with wealth to protect, wealth and assets to protect. She was so upset by getting cheated on, by a lame, line him up and went for scorched earth. Yeah. I mean, one of the two things is true. But I mean, no matter what, I can't ignore the fact that she has everything to gain financially from telling this story. She's the one that's been on the carousel. True, she did come to the relationship younger with more kids. So did she get the authorities involved? Okay. From how she told the story, she went to the hospital and the hospital got the authorities involved and they sent her to another hospital. But for all we know, she didn't even go to the hospital. All we know is what she told us. Her children are safe and sound, away from their abuser. Once again, provided that the story is true. I refuse to behave as if the story is true. That's the opposite of impartiality. You're going to see more of this. You're going to see more of this after the recent presidential election results. Play dumb if you want. Elaborate on what you mean by this, because there's a lot that happened. Because she's attention whoring. Could be. That is the more likely of the two scenarios. I'm glad she spoke up for other mothers to do the same. Okay, here's the thing about the whole other mothers. This is not the determining factor. If you are a mother who allowed this to happen to your daughters and you wasn't speaking up, then you're a piece of shit. And watching this video is not going to make you less of a piece of shit. Like, you're such a shitty human being at that point that you're not one YouTube video away from being a decent person. You're just shit. It's possible, yeah. She's trying to destroy him because he's cheated on her, got somebody pregnant. Not to say it's not something her man couldn't do. It seems like she's trying to destroy him. Yes. If this story is not true, then this is definitely an attempt to destroy him. I mean, fellas, we can't just believe all women. I'm not saying automatically default to disbelieving them, but I am saying, we all seen the brick bitch. Who was the chick that was kidnapped? That AKA chick that faked the whole kidnapping and brought up like a white child that she was trying to rescue. Like, I mean, there are people out there with really, really, really strange stories. And her story begins with her changing a 4-year-old's diapers. I mean, yeah. Remember, she was upset when she went back to the dating website and saw him still active. My guess is he was a messy cheater, and she made up with the story. I don't think. Hold on. Women hate getting played, especially by lames. Okay. I don't really think that okay. I don't think that she loved him. Let's start there. I don't think that she loved the guy. So when women don't have strong affections for a guy, they really don't care if he cheats or not. I mean, they care because they lose the security of the relationship that they have. But, if she cheats, she just divorce him and take his shit. Or maybe she did have affection for him. Who knows? I mean, right now it's up in the air. It's all hearsay until we see the police report, court documents, and medical records. Well, yeah, it's all hearsay until the judge bangs the gavel. So, yeah, I mean, and that's how I want to treat it. I'm not going to give her, like anything, and I'm not going to, give him any benefits of the doubt either. Society makes women feel ashamed for the sexual abuse that they suffer. I'm proud she was brave enough to come forward. Yeah, but what if the children? I mean, she came forward on the behalf of the children. I'm not saying they don't take courage to bring something like that up, but it's not your situation to bring up. Understand that. This is your daughter's situation to bring up. It's not your secret to tell. Okay. So just like if I'm locked up and Big Bubba starts giving my cellmate the business, and then I go on TV and say, yeah, he got the business. Am I brave for doing that? For telling his story? UFO is right. It's pushback from Electrico. What is that? Oh, you're saying that they're throwing stuff like this out because of elections. So he voted for Trump, and I don't know. Right now, And it wasn't just me and Bella. Like everybody is covering this. Like Danica said, everybody is covering this. So, and she, let me see, because like last time it was like at 833K. Like she is literally like blowing up right in front of our eyes as far as um her views on this. So, this is a huge deal. So yeah, so 5,000 since the last time I looked. Now it's 838,000. So she is really blowing up. Um, this channel is really blowing up off of this. It will be, somewhere, it'll be 1 million plus by the time I wake up tomorrow morning. Or maybe even by the time I come back from the gym. And yeah, people are talking about this. Yeah, the neighbor's husband thing, I'm telling you, it just sounds suspicious. Well, I mean, bravery is when you're risking consequences. If the story is not true, dude has to fight for his life. I mean, no matter what, his name is Mud. I mean, his name is Mud. Like the best case scenario is he's a single father. He's destroyed no matter what. When your best case scenario is a single father, and me, I'm an advocate of I'm a strong advocate of breastfeeding. I think Bella Rings talk about that too. I'm a strong advocate for breastfeeding. No matter what, he's impacted in an extraordinarily negative way. His best case scenario will see his children inferiorly fed. His newborn child fed on Similac. That's the best case scenario. That he don't lose any clients, he don't lose his job, he don't lose, he don't lose anything, and she goes to jail. The best case scenario is he got to figure out how to feed his kid, and he's now raising 5 kids, unless he's by himself, unless he just says fuck them kids to her first 2. I don't think they're talking about this as ideal, but I understand why she did it. Her whole channel was about her husband and being a trophy wife. Oh, makes sense. No, I understood you meant election. I would say to her previous children, who she had was Pookie. This guy she got is a sucks. Huh? I'll say this to her previous children who she had were Pookies. This guy she got is a sucks. Provided is a sucker. Okay, I see. Okay. She still has to work and make money. YouTube is her job. No, it's not. It's not. YouTube is not her job. Okay. I don't know if you know this about yourself, Caribbean Brit, but you're an awful fucking human being. And I think you don't know that. I think that you wake up in the morning and you eat breakfast and you think that you're a regular freaking person. But you're not. The fact that you think like that, the fact that you just says, she told this story and your outcome is, well, she got to make money. To think about the money in this scenario is twisted. This is my job. Whose job is it to tell stories like that about their kids and their husband? What kind of shit is that? Why would you say that? Why do your brain work that way? That's not regular. That's not what regular human beings do. What the hell? That is a sick and twisted thing to say. Like, hey, at the end of the day, I gotta make my money. What the fuck is that? YouTube is my occupation. Holy crap. I get all kinds in my chat room. Yeah, true. He could have avoided this if he just qualified single mothers. It would have played, it could have played out the same way if she wasn't a single mother. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's a knee jerk thing, too. It's a knee jerk thing, you know. The desire for revenge is strong. Rest in peace, Tupac. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. And since she already has one, it is the sweetest joy. Parents of molested children tend to not broadcast it to the world. I mean, listen, it shouldn't be done on your own YouTube channel. Like, you know, being one of those shadowy figures behind the curtains where the voice is changed and you sound like this. Luke, I am your father. You know, like being that type of person is understandable because you want to salvage and make sure your kids have a normal life, but don't be like, you know, like, hi, it's me with the pretty face. You know, those who know me, and those who know my daughters know my daughters. This is what happened to them. Is a bit fucked up. You can anonymously tell your story, like I do all the time behind the damn chess piece. Brit is just blindly believing her and taking her side on everything. Yeah, but I mean, also the justification, you know, also the justification of doing it because she got to make her money. Like, if you would have said anything else, like, I mean, you know, like when you were saying like, oh, well, she has to spread awareness to other women. You know, I could see the logic in that. I could see a decent person following that logic. But you just said it's YouTube and she got to make her money. What the hell is that? I wouldn't do it, but I understand why she did. Okay, all right, that understanding makes you. I'm not even gonna go there anymore. Thanks for being thanks for subscribing. I'm not even gonna go there. Uh, Spoken like a black woman. I think you probably talking about Brit. I think you mean shouldn't. She shouldn't have used her children. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you. If this is true, and you're saying stuff like, "What direction do my channel goes in?" Really, listen. Y'all would not hear from me. Like, I mean, when something that level of tragedy happens in my life, y'all will not hear from me, possibly ever. And that's why I have to tell y'all that Bernard is fine because you know, because that's what people do. Like, you know, if something like that happens, you don't see them on YouTube anymore. You know, it's logical to assume that they're dealing with what's going on in their life. Um, y'all wouldn't hear from GameChanger. Y'all wouldn't see my magnificent chess piece and beautifully constructed background. Like I'm going through things. I'm going through things. What the hell? Yeah. I believe the neighbor part, she could be projecting from the past trauma. It would be hard to prove either way. Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing that, you know, when you had tragedy, then you're seeing it where you see a diaper rash and you know, yeah. So that could be like post traumatic, blah 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 blah. But it all sounds like too spectacular to be perfectly honest. Like it just looms around your family, you and your family. Always has your ticket for the Black women hate train. Okay. I don't hate Black women. I'm fairly indifferent. Okay. Y'all talking back and forth. Let's see. I've seen a female lie, and while she was lying, she was convincing herself of the lie. Man, listen. And she got off. And after the trial, I didn't even want to hate fuck this bitch anymore. But y'all remember Casey Anthony? So for those of you who don't know, Casey Anthony was a pretty white girl out of Florida. And she deleted her daughter, and then she came up with like all kinds of cockamamie stories. She even named the maid. Like she said, yes, and my daughter was with my babysitter Consuela. It was just the most ridiculous crap I have ever heard in my life. And the whole time I'm thinking like, this bitch is gonna die in prison. She gonna die in prison. And she got off. And she even accused her father, who was there supporting her, of molesting her. It was nuts. It was nuts. Ever since then, I thought Florida people was retarded. And now I know that it's just Florida people that's not from Miami that's retarded. Ever since then, I was like, Florida people are fucking nuts to let something like that happen. So, dang, that's my phone. But anyway, and then yeah, it's the same thing. Like, why is it that all these chicks with cockamamie stories just all of a sudden they were molested as kids? It's it's so much stuff like this happens. You know, Duke Lacrosse is so many. All these Bill Cosby bitches. Fuck each and every single Bill Cosby bitch. With so much of this going on, I can't help but side eye all this shit. I just can't help it. I know she's hot. That's why I say there was a time where I would hate fuck her. But she's too fucking crazy. She's too fucking crazy. Did you bop her one? Did you give her, you know, like two to the eyes or something? If it was a dude, you probably give him two to the eyes, right? If it was George Zimmerman, who's also in Florida, you would have gave him a two-piece. But she's hot. Yeah, because she burned the nigga shit down. And she burned the nigga in it. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, all these crazy bitches. Like, when a story sounds... Because right now I'm at the point where when shit just sounds so fucked up. Like the brick bitch. When shit just sounds so fucked up. Like when it sounds like it came out of a Chat GPT story, I have to say this. I have to say it's weird. Sexual abuse is always swept under the carpet. Why shouldn't she talk about it to bring it awareness to the issue? Listen, she is telling the story. She is telling us a story that her daughters probably don't want told. That's why. Why don't you understand that? Yeah, and that's what happens when you let these bras free. Oh my God, what is this? What part are you talking about? When I say fuck those Cosby bitches, fuck those Cosby bitches. You know, she's way yeah, she's sexy, but she's way too fucking crazy. Fuck that. She don't deserve it. All right, and that's a 2:30 mark. So I'd like to thank Trump for prison and Bella Rings. I appreciate your contributions. Oh, actually, no, I'll check my email. Check my email and then I'll answer the phone. Give me a second. And while I'm saying fuck you to people, fuck Mike Tyson. All right, anyway. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for participating. Special thanks to the channel members, managers and moderators, and those who are listening silently and those who participate in the chat. Hit the like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.